Hello, Smiley here. I'm back again because I wanted to come and chat to you all. We had such a nice chat yesterday. I thought I'd like to continue it on. Because after I got off the chat, well, there were so many things I thought about. And I thought, oh, I didn't say that and I didn't say that. So I want to get back into our conversation about angry bears. Because this week's all been about angry children. So, how you doing today? Are you alright? It's really windy outside. I had to wear my hat earlier because it was just so windy. Little bit cold, but I've had a really good morning, and I hope you have as well. I've been in a meeting this morning sorting out my Christmas campaign. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be brilliant. So while we're waiting to see if anyone else wants to hop on and join the chat, I wanted to ask you what you love about Christmas, what gets you really excited, and what you love about it the most. And I also wanted to ask you what you dread about Christmas, what you find stressful about it, and what you don't like. So if you're one of these people that finds Christmas stressful, lots of people do. It's not a happy time for everyone. The spirit of Christmas means different things to different families. Then put your comments below. I'd love to hear what you love about Christmas. I love the food element of Christmas, it has to be said. Mince pies all the way. And I also really like the fact that I can have some time off work. Because as you will probably have noticed, I work a lot. But what I dread about Christmas is the falseness of it, I suppose. The fact that it's all fa la 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 la, let's all be happy, and actually it's not happy for lots of people, and I just think that goes against my values. You know, I try and live my life authentically, and Christmas brings up that inauthenticity, if that's a word. Yeah, that's a word. And I don't like the fact that it's sometimes forced happiness when we're not all feeling in the Christmas spirit. And I think holidays also, for people that have lost people, or when families are all together and someone's missing, I think holidays kind of bring up that sadness. So it means different things to different people. So it would be helpful to know what Christmas means to you. So if you can put your comments below, I would really like that. But I want to go back to the reason I've popped online today, and that's to talk about anger. Because yesterday we talked about children who are angry, full angry backpacks, not connected, and then we did the HALT acronym: hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So I wonder how your school pickups went yesterday, and how you chose to connect in with your children when you went and met them from school. And I hope that went well. But following on from that, I want to talk more about the emotion of anger. So I think anger is something that can be quite uncomfortable for lots of us. As a woman, I sometimes don't like people to see the angry me. That's ugly, but I guess that's something I've been brought up to believe, that angry is not a good thing. But we kind of need anger because it keeps us safe, and it makes us set boundaries with people and say, hey, no, that's not right. Yeah, so it can be uncomfortable to express, but it can be really uncomfortable to be on the receiving end of it. It can be quite scary to be on the receiving end of someone who's like fully raging and acting out. But underneath anger, and anger is not the primary emotion. Underneath anger, there's normally something else. And I've got a lovely picture that I found on Pinterest that I'll post in the comments below. It's like an iceberg. So anger's the bit that you see here, and then underneath the iceberg is a whole load of other feelings. So the two primary ones that I see in coaching are sadness and fear. So sometimes, an anxiety can come out as anger as well, which I think I said yesterday. But sometimes, if I get children who come to coaching and their parents will be saying to me, we've just had a real sort of change in character overnight, and I'm not really sure why that is. And then it turns out the child is experiencing lots of mini losses. So they're like carrying a sadness. So I would identify a mini loss as, well, a pet, losing a pet, a friend moving away, obviously a teacher leaving. I'm just trying to think of other examples that I've had. A teacher leaving, a parent splitting up obviously is a massive loss. What are the other losses I've experienced? Friends moving away. Oh, like changing au pairs, or a key sort of caretaker in a child's life is going. If they've got like a really good connection with the teacher at school and the teacher's not around anymore, you know, that creates a sadness. I think we underestimate how much of an influence some adults have in a child's life, and how they go through like a grieving process. I think we do with any change though, don't we? Because we kind of say goodbye to one thing and then we move into the next. So if you're seeing a lot of anger, maybe underneath that is sadness. And then the fear thing, I've written this one down so I don't get it wrong. The two things that I see most of all that come up for fear that makes children angry is getting it wrong and getting into trouble. And that makes me really sad. Children who are scared of getting into trouble, that is not a very nice place for them. So sometimes when they're really, really scared, if you're cross with them, they're going to get cross back. And that's not very nice. But in particular with boys I'm seeing in my coaching room, I don't know if this is the same for everyone if you've got a boy, but boys, I think we bring them up and we make it hard for them to show their vulnerability. And that's awful. But then what that happens is that all that sadness and fear and all those really soft, vulnerable feelings manifest themselves as anger. And then you get these boys who are just like aggressive. And you know, I get to hear about these boys who are causing trouble and being bullies and stuff, but it's more about what they're carrying inside. And I don't know how we as a society can make it okay for boys growing up to be vulnerable, because then they lose touch with that part of themselves, that sensitive part of themselves. You know, if I had a son and I was growing someone else's husband, for want of a better expression, I'd kind of want to nurture that sensitivity, because I know as a girl, being in a relationship with a man who's in touch with his emotions and who is quite sensitive is the type of man that I would want to be in a relationship with. But maybe that's what I value. So allowing our children to be vulnerable, to get it wrong, to make mistakes, to be in trouble, and to maybe be understanding of that, and maybe guide them towards the behaviour you want to see. And instead of punishing them because you're telling them what they need to be doing, because then you get loads of obedient children, and obedient children are brilliant at doing as they're told, aren't they? But you send them out into the big wide world and they can't make a decision, and if they're getting bullied in the playground and someone tells them to do something, they feel obliged to do it, because the thinking it's not intrinsic, it doesn't come from inside. So that's something that we definitely need to think about how we nurture those vulnerable feelings. And I guess as parents, if we are uncomfortable, I don't really like crying in front of other people, because it makes me feel silly and embarrassed, and sometimes it makes me feel inadequate. And I'm a big crier because lots of things move me. I get very emotional about things. And I can very easily start to cry, and then I can hold my breath and stop it and just shut down the tears. I do anger super easily. You know, if someone triggers me, I can get really angry easily. Although as I've got older, I've found ways to manage that. So have a think about how comfortable you are with anxiety, with being afraid of something, with feeling sad and showing those sad feelings. Think about how comfortable you are with those, and then think about what you're role modelling to your kids. If you're not comfortable with them, your kids won't be. There's unwritten rules in families, isn't there? If they see mummy and daddy don't do it in a certain way, they're not always hearing you, but they're watching that and they're thinking, oh yeah, crying's not okay. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So don't always see anger as a bad thing, is what I'm saying. And we do actually need anger. We need anger because anger tells us that that something is going on for us that we don't like. I think all emotions are messengers. So when I get very emotional about something, I think, right, what is going on for me? Am I really scared, or am I, you know, am I worried, or am I sad? So that's something that we should definitely be thinking about. But the way that we can help our children be more vulnerable, so I've got some tips for you and I've written them down here so I don't forget to say them, is try not to make them wrong. So when something goes wrong and their feelings get, they get very emotional about something, try and validate how they're feeling. So, I always, when I do these sort of role plays, I sound really insincere, but I'm going to try and sound more sincere. You say, oh, that makes you really sad when that happens, doesn't it? And then you can just tumbleweed it out. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to stop the sadness. You just need to allow it to come. When we make them wrong, when we say, don't be silly, oh, stop worrying, oh, there's nothing to worry about, we're invalidating how they feel. And someone's feelings, we don't really know how someone else feels, and so we're then teaching them not to trust their own feelings. So we have to allow them. So definitely validating, so reflecting back to them what you're seeing. And the other thing is empathy. Empathy is the connection, isn't it? When you're crying and someone says, oh my God, yeah, that's so sad. That is really sad. I'm so sorry you feel like that. I can see how sad you are. Instead of saying, oh yeah, poor you, never mind, and then changing the subject. So validation and empathy are really good tools for helping your children with their emotions. And in Chatty Club, when we do our Time to Connect Tuesday and Time to Connect Thursday, we've been looking at lots of different tools to deal with emotions and maybe some helpful phrases, because sometimes in the heat of the moment, instinctively, we kind of want to make it better for the other person. That's a very instinctive, protective parenting thing. But actually, if we do that, we're robbing our child of the opportunity to really lean into that uncomfortable feeling and get the message that they need to get. And then once the emotions dissolve, they can move through to problem solving and they can work it out for themselves. And I've seen really little kids do that. I just don't think we sometimes appreciate how amazing they are. But maybe that's because we've had those bits shut down in us. And so we're projecting our lack onto them. So that's kind of what I wanted to tell you today. And when I think about empathy, actually, there's a great Brené Brown cartoon which talks about the difference between sympathy and empathy. But empathy is really putting yourself in your child's shoes. So if they're blue sippy cups in the dishwasher and they want the red one, okay, you don't really care about that, I know, but your child does. So if you meet your child where they are and you step right into their shoes and go, oh, you really wanted that one, didn't you? I know you really wanted that one. You can't give it to them because it's in the dishwasher and the dishwasher's on. You're still saying you can only have this cup if you want a drink of water. So you're maintaining your position, but you're allowing them to communicate and you're allowing them to be unhappy and disappointed about it. They didn't get the cup they wanted. That's a great life lesson, isn't it, from a sippy cup? So I would always encourage communication and emotion if you've got the time and it's appropriate in those situations. But you don't have to kind of pander to them and give them everything they want. You can just allow that emotion to tell me more about that. Tell me why that's upsetting you. Oh, yeah, you love blue. It's your favourite colour. I know. And sometimes I know, I get it, I know. Oh, or a smile or a touch on the arm is enough. Is enough to say, I'm right here beside you. I get it. You really wanted that cup and you can't have it. I don't know if that's a good way of explaining it. Oh, I've got a like, so I think it is. But lots of these techniques I use when I'm coaching kids on a one-to-one, but I'm trying to help parents with them, because obviously parenting doesn't come with a manual, and there are lots of parenting courses out there. Oh, someone's just written something down here. Oh, it has to be genuine. Yeah, the empathy has to be genuine. That's right, Nikki. Don't just go, yeah, you wanted the blue one, just to shut them up, because then that kind of defeats the object, and that isn't coming from a heartfelt place of empathy. And Nikki's also said, my daughter knows when I'm not being sincere. Oh yeah, they definitely do. They know when you're just saying things because it's what they think you what am I trying to say? What you want to hear. Is that right? lost my train of thought again because I'm reading the comments. So yeah, so empathy and validation. Validation is not saying it's okay to throw yourself on the kitchen floor when you can't have your sippy cup, but we don't look at stopping the behaviour if we seek to help with the emotion. All behaviour is driven by emotions. The behaviour writes itself, and then in our quieter moments when we're connected and we're cuddled up, we can say, hey, you got really upset about the cup today, didn't you? And I noticed that was really disappointing for you. But I wonder what we can do next time when you're getting upset about stuff. What helps you when you get upset? And then you can talk about it. Do you need a hug? Do you need to deep breathe? Do you whatever? I'm making it sound very easy. And the thing is that we've all got trigger points when it comes to emotions. So this kind of stuff takes practice. But the key is awareness. Once you are aware of this stuff and you know it, you can't unknow it, and all you can do is live it and practice it every day. We're not looking for perfection, we're just looking for progress. We're not looking for perfect parents or perfect children. We just want to be able to let these softer emotions come out, so we're not all having meltdowns, or we're not all using food or wine or something else to stuff them all down because they feel uncomfortable. So you can learn more about that in the Chatty Club. And you know, this month I'm doing my competition. So if you sign up for Chatty Club during November, you get the chance to win a VIP coaching day for your child, which is worth about 750 quid. It's amazing. It would be such a brilliant day for them. Not only in terms of like the coaching, but all the tools you get to take away and the whole experience. And then they get a personalised download. So they get a download from me, and then I guess that's the positive association that ties them back to the day that they've had. So that's something definitely worth thinking about. But if you didn't see my live stream yesterday, definitely, if you scroll back through the news feed, you can watch it. So you can watch the first part of this and me talking about what potentially is going on when a child is feeling angry. And now you've got some more understanding about what might lie beneath that. But in the Chatty Club file section, there's a great download. There's a great visualization for an angry dragon, which is good for your kids. But there's also a soul-searching activity sheet for parents, plus a video from me, which is helping parents look at their angry triggers. Because I think that's the hardest thing when they're getting angry, if we start to get angry, and then it just escalates from there. So I'm going to go soon. Yeah, it's 2:45. I'm going off to the theatre this evening, and I'm going to go and get ready, and I'm going to have some supper, going to see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and I'm really excited. I can't wait. I really can't wait. And don't forget to tell me about what you love and what you dread about Christmas and what's stressful, because I'd really like to hear that from you. That would be fab. But I hope that's helpful. And if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat roll below, and I will endeavour to answer them as soon as I can. But it's really nice to be online again. I'm really enjoying this, and I'm going to try and live stream as much as possible. So enjoy the rest of your afternoon/evening, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.